Kate Scott, Scandalous Magazine.
The Darlings aren't home.
Oh, well, do you know when they might be back?
The Darlings are away for Thanksgiving.
Well, I am doing a 2,000-word expose on the family, and
I'm familiar with your column. Red carpet, confidential.
Not a fan?
Come on, what have you got? Couple shots of Karen sunbathing topless in Ibiza?
Actually, this is not a puff piece. And if I wanted to print pictures of Karen Darling's yayas, I wouldn't have to look hard. Now, I'm doing a piece about family betrayal, criminal cover-ups, and murder.
I'm just the chauffeur.
Which means you have a front row seat for every sordid Darling debacle.
I drive the car. I don't see much.
That's not what I hear, Clark. Look, I go to press in 6 hours. It's part of our holiday special issue. I just want to fact-check my story. Or I can run the piece as is. It's your choice. I always wondered what this place looked like.
It's just a family home.
So is Versailles.
So, how long is this gonna take?
20 minutes. An hour, tops. Okay. First question. I have information that before Letitia was charged with the murder of Dutch George, the police were investigating somebody else.
Well, they should have stayed focused on that person. Because, as you know, Mrs. Darling was found innocent. Who is this suspect?
Her husband, your boss, Trip Darling.
Mr. Darling was never under investigation for the murder of Dutch George. Check your sources.
So you're denying that when Patrick Darling was the Attorney General of the state of New York, he investigated his own father before that investigation mysteriously went away?
You're half right. A while back, Patrick was going after his father. But it didn't have anything to do with Dutch's murder. This whole thing started when Tripp received an unexpected visitor.
Mr. Trip Darling?
Yeah?
You've been served.
Let's go. What's that?
Well, it's a subpoena from the Attorney General's office signed by Patrick, calling you to testify in the Fantini brothers case.
Tripp needed that subpoena to go away. The fact that the investigation was being brought by Tripp's son, Patrick, and that the two hadn't exactly been getting along, made things even more complicated.
I can try to quash it.
No, trying is not good enough. It is imperative that the two of you figure out a way to make sure that I am not compelled to walk into that courtroom.
Why don't you want to testify?
They're mobsters, Brian.
The Fantini brothers have a long and tempestuous history with us. Our professional dealings with them have always been above board, ethically pristine. But if I am called to bear witness, they'll do everything in their power to make the court believe that all of their foul corruption stems from us. Regrettably, Patrick knows this too.
I'll take care of it. We'll take care of it.
So, Nick and Brian went to see Patrick, to try and keep this misunderstanding within the family.
Patrick, as Attorney General, it's within your power to offer the Fantini brothers a deal. Your office gets an easy conviction. It saves taxpayers some money on what would be a lengthy and messy trial. Case closed.
I already offered the Fantini brothers a very reasonable plea deal, and they wouldn't take it.
Well, then drop the case, dumbass.
Hey, what happened to hanging back?
What happened to getting the job done?
Brian, asking me to drop the case is an obstruction of justice. That's a felony. Surely Nick must have explained that to you already. Unless he's in on the plan, too. My, how things have changed.
Hey, would you drop the prissy tone? We're talking about your father.
I could talk like Clint Eastwood if you like, but my hands are tied. The Fantini brothers wanted the big show, and I'm just, bringing the popcorn.
Patrick, we all know that the only reason you're going after the Fantini brothers is to attack Tripp.
Listen, gentlemen, thanks for coming. If you'll excuse me, I've got to get back to my career of fighting crime.
Patrick, this isn't over.
Really? Seems like it is.
After striking out with Patrick, Nick wanted to go through channels. Brian chose a less diplomatic approach.
Let me guess, Brian's here.
Should I send him in?
Nice work, Daisy.
You got it.
Look, I have called the governor's office. I am waiting to hear on a judge's ruling on an injunction. And right now, I have to get home and see my daughter for dinner, okay?
Well, that must be nice.
Meaning?
To accomplish absolutely nothing. And then go home with so much friggin' bacon.
What do you want from me, Brian?
I want you to be half the guy Tripp thinks you are and get something done.
I just said I'm on
No,
it.
you know what? I'm on it.
What does that mean?
You're never gonna get Patrick or anybody else to dismiss this case. The papers have made too much of a big deal out of it, and Patrick is never gonna back down.
Look, you're right about that, but what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go down to Jersey, talk to these Fantini brothers, and maybe get them to make a deal.
These guys are connected, Brian. They're dangerous. You're gonna walk in there and say what?
I'm Brian Darling, Paisan, and this is how it's gonna be.
How the hell were you ever a minister?
You ever read the Bible? It's full of aggravating people that get things done. Check it out.
I wish I could tell you that Brian was all talk. But when that kid gets an idea in his head,
Sorry to keep you waiting, Padre.
That's ex-Padre.
You know, I don't even know if this is allowed. Son of a witness, brother of Patrick Darling, talking to defendant.
All of a sudden, you're a stickler for the rules. Give me a break.
So what do you want? I know you didn't come all the way to Jersey just to catch a glimpse of some of that.
I want you to make a deal. Take a suspended sentence or something and make this case go away.
Why would we do that?
Because if you don't, you just might end up rotting away in prison where you both friggin' belong.
Why don't you let your brother, little Patty, worry about such stuff, huh?
Look, we can handle this one of two ways. You take a deal, or I can call my brother and make sure that you both go to jail for a long, long time.
I make it a policy to stay out of Darling family business. But Brian was in way over his head.
Hey, Clark, what's up?
I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. George.
But Brian made me drop him off at the Fantini Brothers strip joint in
Jersey, about 2 hours ago.
Unbelievable.
I tried to get inside a few times, but the
goons won't let me in.
I'll be right there. Brian! You all right?
Good evening.
Mikey, relax.
Yeah, you too, Clark.
So you're a Duchess kid, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you got more manners than this potty-mouthed priest over here.
Look, I came here to tell you that Patrick Darling is going to offer you a plea bargain that you're going to find acceptable.
And why should we believe you?
Is this the truth? I give you my word.
Well, if you're anything like your old man, that's good enough for me. Get him out of here, will you?
Brian, let's go. Clark!
Yes.
Clark!
Yeah. Thank you. That's really good. I get lonely sometimes. Sue me. Anyway, Nick promised he could get Patrick to play ball. Now he just needed to deliver.
How do you plan on doing that?
Well, behind every Darling man is a good woman. Sometimes, two.
Care to elaborate?
Patrick was having trouble with his girlfriend.
Carmelita.
Yes, she'd kind of flown the coop on Patrick's election night. Nick figured if he could track down Carmelita, then Patrick would be much more agreeable on the whole Fantini mess.
Did it work?
Like a charm.
Okay, what the hell is so important that you gotta... What happened to you?
We have some news about Carmelita.
Did you know where she is?
Hey, relax.
What do you know?
I have a phone number where she can be reached.
Let's have it.
Well, Pat, I'm not going to give it to you. I'll let you talk to her. If you retract the subpoena.
You're kidding, right?
No, he's not kidding.
I'm dead serious, Pat. If you want to talk to Carmelita, you'll retract the subpoena, make the Fantini brothers a deal they'll accept. Do not let this go to trial.
You two have sunk to a new low. You're using Carmelita for your own wretched gains?
I know, isn't it great?
Fine, okay.
All right? Here you go.
What is this?
Just a little statement declaring your unwavering intent to quash the subpoena. I don't want you changing your mind.
What the hell has happened to you?
The Fantini brothers took their sweetheart deal. The subpoena went away. Case closed. Now, you probably want to beat that Thanksgiving traffic. So,
You know, before I leave, I wanted to mention, I keep hearing these rumors
rumors?
about Ellen Darling's death and your involvement in a potential cover-up.
That's ridiculous.
Is it, Clark?
You have no proof of anything.
No, not yet. But if you don't start cooperating, I'll make damn sure I find some. I'm glad I was able to help you understand why we needed to have this little chat.
Yeah, well, blackmail tends to get my attention.
Next question. Karen.
That's not a question.
Actually, you know, I'm a little parched myself.
Why not?
So, my sources tell me that Karen nearly broke off her engagement to billionaire Simon Elder.
There were a few bumps along the road, but everything's just fine now. In fact, the wedding's next week.
So it is true Karen's tempestuous relationship with old flame Nick George nearly wrecked everything for Simon and Karen?
Think you're a little mixed up on your specifics there, Kate. There was an ex stirring up trouble, but it wasn't Nick George.
Hey, baby, I think it's really sexy that you're a dad. But do I have to meet your son?
Alana's a great kid. You'll love him.
Rise up slowly.
Maybe I'll buy him something.
Yeah?
Like Hot Wheels.
And now move into Navasana. Boat pose.
He's 16 years old.
Yeah, I know, but I can't give a 16-year-old boy what he really wants, now can I?
No, you can't.
Hey, did we pick a place for lunch yet?
Oh, yeah. My place, 2 p.m. Alma is gonna cook for us.
Your ex-wife is joining us?
Yeah.
Fun. That's so fun.
Well, I thought it'd be a good idea for you two to get to know each other better. You know, for Alana's sake and all.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, as you can imagine, this whole Amma thing wasn't sitting well with Karen.
I'm happy to have lunch with his son, but his ex-wife, too?
Princess Amma forever. Have you registered your concerns with Simon?
No, it would be too weird. We were just getting out of the boat position when he told me. Yoga, Mom.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
He just doesn't realize how creepy and possessive she gets when she's around me.
Oh, Karen, if you and Simon can overcome the emotional infidelities of high-stakes corporate espionage, you can, talk this through. Just be delicate.
So, later that afternoon, Karen took her mother's advice to heart and decided to give Simon a call.
Hey there. So, listen, I was sort of thinking about lunch, and I think I wanted it just to be the three of us. You know, you, me, and Alon.
Yeah, I got you. No problem.
Dad, get off the phone.
He doesn't sound 16.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Isn't that better?
Yeah.
The next day, Simon, Karen, and Alon met for lunch, and that's when things got complicated.
I want to go to either Oxford or Cambridge.
What about the Sorbonne? Les jolies filles, très sexy, right?
That'd be cool. I'm kind of into continental philosophy.
Yeah, but I like to keep him just a little closer to home.
Why? You always said the world raised you, right?
Alma.
Hi, I let myself in.
Alma, hi. It's a surprise.
I'm so sorry I'm interrupting.
Not at all.
Elon wanted to drive with you later, and he forgot his learner's permit.
All right, let's go. Alma, Tanasi. Imre Kakrerbi.
Emre Kakayat.
Hey, I'm gonna go make sure he doesn't back over one of our valets. I'll be right back.
Stay.
Well, you look beautiful.
Thank you, but no. I am here because I am the mother of Simon's child. You are here because you are beautiful. Beauty makes Simon very happy.
We had great sex this morning.
3 times.
Ooh, meow.
Don't quote me on that last part, but you get the picture.
So, that's the whole story? Karen Darling has a healthy sexual appetite? Oh, Clark, I thought you were gonna cooperate. If that's all you've got...
Did I say I was done? Now, after Alma's surprise drop by, Karen was plenty ticked off. But Simon still didn't have a clue.
Hey, Karen, it's Simon.
Oh, hi. What do you want?
I was hoping you would have brunch with me this morning.
Hoping, or are you asking?
How does 10 work for you?
It doesn't, really.
Oh, but avoiding me does.
Well, maybe I could clear my schedule.
Perfect. I told Amma we'd meet her at Hyacinth.
Oh. You mean that ex-wife of yours that you're inappropriately close to still? That Alma her?
Yeah, that's the one.
You know what? I can't clear my schedule because I met this guy last night and we were having brunch. It's gonna be me and him and, well, his ex-wife, naturally, and his stepmother and this girl he had a crush on in kindergarten, and I would love to invite you along, but that would just be weird.
So what happened? How did Simon win her back?
Have you ever met Simon Elder in person?
No.
Well, he is a charmer.
I know, I'm persistent.
If by persistent you mean stalkerish, yes. How did you find me?
You would return my calls, I got it. Give me no other option.
What do you want?
I spoke to Amma.
Oh, is she upset I broke up with us? Was she planning a cruise or something?
No, Amma and I are going to limit our relationship. We're just going to interact when we have to. When we're co-parenting Alon.
You're gonna do that because of me.
There are reasons Amma and I aren't together. You're the first woman that I've cared about. I mean, really cared about in a long time.
I don't know what to say.
Then don't say anything. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So you see, Nick had nothing to do with Karen and Simon's wedding jitters. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a Thanksgiving turkey to stuff.
I'm sure you do. But it's my understanding that in the midst of her murder trial, Letitia was arrested for jumping bail and trying to flee the country.
Okay, that's just crazy. Who's your source on that one?
The booking officer at the 19th precinct.
Of course.
From what I hear, Letitia made a run for it, which is what guilty people do. Come on, Clark, admit it. Letitia Darling's a murderer.
I can clear all this up, all right? During the trial, Mrs. Darling did have some problems with her bail, but she never ever tried to flee.
I'm all ears.
When Mrs. Darling was charged with murder, she was placed under house arrest.
But yeah, it sounds like a real hardship, having to stay cooped up in the palace.
You might not think so, but after a while, Letitia started getting restless. You cannot be out here, Mrs. Darling. You're under house arrest.
I need my daily walk, Clark. And so does Midas. For different reasons, of course. I love the fall. It reminds me of bonfires and apple picking. Oh, and spring fashion collections. I can't wait to see the Ferragamo charity fashion show at the Waldorf next week. Fantastico.
Ma'am, please, you are under strict instructions not to leave the property.
We own all the property in the neighborhood. This is my home.
Mrs. Darling, maybe we should...
Clark, that's a siren. Pull over and make way.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold her right there, ma'am. 71st and Madison, you got her. Miss Darling?
I'm just walking my dog.
Step away from the dog and put your hands in the air.
I give up.
Mrs. Darling was under arrest.
Again?
Let's just say it's moments like these where Nick George really earns his money.
I got your probation officer to release you with a warning.
Ugh.
But if you leave the house again for anything other than court-related reasons, you're going to sit in jail for the duration of the trial.
Thank you, Elise.
Well, I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere, huh?
Nick, I was just put in a police car for walking my dog. I've earned a fortifying cocktail.
And I, having taken this case at your request, have earned a little cooperation. Do you understand the rules or not?
Truthfully, no. What do they think I'm going to do? Run off somewhere? I'm a darling. Where could I hide?
Look, I know it's nerve-wracking being confined here, but you have to stay in the house. Clark,
Yes, sir.
do you understand?
Yes, sir.
She can't leave.
No, sir.
God! I was so looking forward to that fashion show. I feel like I'm under arrest.
You are.
I know, but now I feel that way. Nick, could you get me the number for the folks at Ferragamo?
Why?
Well, if I can't go to the collection, I'll bring it here. If I invite all my friends, they can't say no. I'm their biggest client. Is that within the law?
I'll see what I can do.
As the fashion show approached, Mrs. Darling got more and more excited. It was good to see her back to her old self.
I'm thinking the runway can stretch right through the center of the gallery. My darling. Or maybe the living room.
Oh, you're seriously putting a fashion show on here?
Well, Ferragamo agreed to it. They're sending over their spring collection and their models, and I've invited 200 of my closest friends and their daughters. The city of New York can imprison me in my own home, but they can't slow me down. You'll come?
I will try. Sounds like a real situation.
Well,
The day of the show, things got a little busy around here. Not necessarily in a bad way.
Hi. Can we change in here?
No.
Sorry.
Everything had been planned to the letter. The only problem, when the big moment arrived, it just wasn't that big.
oh, I know. I'm late. It took longer than usual. Imprisonment fatigues me.
Well, maybe you should get some rest then.
And miss my big production? Never.
11.
11 what? What do you mean?
11 of your friends came.
Why would there only be... Huh?
Sycophant suckwads. I'm sorry.
I almost feel sorry for Letitia.
Then don't run the story.
I said I almost feel sorry.
Of course.
So, did she call off the fashion show?
You clearly don't know Letitia Darling.
I refuse to let those boo birds darken my mood. Come on, let's go see the pretty ladies. Oh, well, that was lovely, wasn't it? My deepest thanks to Ferragamo and to all of you for daring.
Letitia, darling, those clothes, things of beauty, marvels, really. But your unwholesome behavior and the attention that it's invited, well, it's cast a shadow over the lives of all women of substance, and for that, I really think you should be ashamed.
Letitia collapsed on the catwalk.
She was dehydrated. Naturally, we rushed her cross town to the doctor, and that's when D.A. Nola Lyons showed up, ready to send Mrs. Darling back to the big house.
She violated house arrest again. I'm taking her into custody.
Necessity is an affirmative defense where a life is at stake. My client needed emergency medical attention.
At a rejuvenation center. This is a glorified spa treatment.
My wife was lucky she blacked out on a catwalk. What would have happened if she'd been on the grand staircase?
I'll make sure there are no stairs in her jail cell. Your wife is done flouting her home confinement. Officers...
If you're referring to the dog walking incident, the term home includes curtilage, any grounds that are part of a dwelling. Since the Darlings own their entire block, it's all curtilage and legally a part of their home.
That's what I told them.
So if you arrest my client now, I will have malicious prosecution charges filed against your office faster than you can say mistrial.
Letitia wasn't jumping bail. She was just having one of her spells.
You have an explanation for just about everything, don't you?
It helps when you're telling the truth.
You're kind of cute. You know that?
Yes. I suppose I do.
What's up with the mustache?
Let's just stick to the article.
Okay. Where is Juliet Darling?
Vacation.
For an entire year.
She's chosen a life of leisure.
I've got a line on a story. That Trip Darling bought his daughter a padded suite at Payne Whitney Psychiatric when she woke up one morning convinced she was Yogi Berra.
Okay. Juliet is with a boy.
What boy?
A boy she met while she was on vacation in the Seychelles.
I need a name.
Kai.
You're kidding me.
No, he's a real sweet kid, too. Look, all the trouble started when Juliet decided she was finally ready to lose her virginity. With Kai.
All right. I'm listening.
Tonight's the night.
Tonight?
I've waited 25 years for the right guy and the right moment. And tonight I'll have both.
You sure?
Positive.
Wait a sec. Jealous African princesses? Okay. Showdowns with mobsters? Maybe. But Juliet Darling, a virgin? Come on.
Look, do you want to hear what happened, or don't you?
Keep going.
Well, like most young ladies, Juliet was still plenty nervous. So she decided to get all the girls together to swap stories about their first times.
Oh, it was so incredible. It was very adventurous.
Do I really want to hear this?
Oh, let her tell. I want to know. Okay, my first time. All right. It's one of those hot Mickey nights. Central Park. We were naked. You're naked in Central Park? Where? I swore to Nick I wouldn't tell. It's our little secret. Did you? You know?
Oh, my Lord, I don't want to know.
I do. Oh, of course, yes. Yeah, but we had to be very quiet because there were people around. And, sweetie, that doesn't always happen to everyone.
Oh, okay. Natalie?
I did it with the pool boy at our house in Palm Springs. We kind of had this thing all summer, and it was very, colonial. Oh, I love that. What about you, Mrs. Darling?
You know, I'm not sure that I want to indulge in this particular round table.
Mom, this is a valuable opportunity for me to learn from my female peers. I need the wisdom of my tribal sisters and mother.
Well, it was my wedding night, and, it was very sweet.
Your wedding night? Oh my God, Mom, tell the truth.
It was my wedding night, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
So? Did Juliet go through with it?
Well, yeah, she did.
How was that?
Good.
Just good?
Oh, great.
Oh, God. I feel like you and I just sang a song that no one's ever heard before. You and I are the only ones who'll ever know it.
You're so sweet.
I have to get that.
What? No, what are you doing? We haven't even finished cuddling yet.
I have to go out for a while.
Who is that?
Just a friend. I'll be back.
Kai, if I'm doing something wrong, you tell me, right?
Of course. It was perfect. I'll see you later, okay?
Juliet, darling, bad in bed,
You think this is about sex?
isn't it?
No. This is about Kai and the very big secret he was keeping. When Kai got home later that day, Juliet decided to play it cool.
Hey. Are you okay?
Where have you been?
I told you I had something to do.
Something or someone?
What?
Were you with another girl? Someone more experienced? Just tell me.
No, I wasn't. Juliet, you're being crazy.
Because I think you're keeping secrets from me. And that is not sexy.
What? What? Hey, wait. Come back.
So Juliet went to talk to the one person a young lady goes to when she's feeling a little confused.
Darling, are you okay?
It's Kai.
He's such a lovely boy. What's wrong?
It's about sex.
Oh.
I'm not very good at it. Do you have any advice?
Oh, sex? Of course. Sex. Sex is like riding a horse. First you you fall in love with the horse, and then you get to know the horse, and then you learn to jump it higher, higher, and then you take all these wonderful adventures with it. But you have to become one with your horse. My advice is, practice, practice, practice.
Later that night, Kai decided to lay all his cards on the table.
Juliet, I know you're angry, and I came to apologize.
Sorry is not good enough, Kai. You're not communicating. You're keeping secrets from me, and you're making me feel...
You're right. Okay? I shouldn't have hid from you what I was doing today. I guess part of me wasn't ready to trust you, but I'm ready now.
Trust me about what?
The night we met, I told you my uncle was a village fisherman. You were okay with that because you said you wanted to meet somebody different. But the truth is, my uncle is Jean-Pierre Desjardins, former president of the Coquille Islands.
No way.
Yes, way. Unfortunately, my uncle's prime minister led a coup d'etat and took the government away from him and the people.
Coup de... Oh, that sounds awful.
I vowed to my uncle that I would restore him to power. That's where I was this afternoon. Meeting with one of his friends, a diplomat, who's going to help us.
Wow. Oh, Kai. Oh, Kai. Telling the truth is so erotic.
Flush with love, Juliet decided she had to help Kai and the freedom fighters liberate the Coquille Islands. So, the next day, Jeremy got a phone call.
Jeremy!
Jules! You okay? I've been worried sick about you. I've called you like 1,000,000 times.
I don't have my phone. I don't need it anymore.
What? Where are you?
I'm at the airport, waiting for my plane.
Oh, no, you have to come back.
I love you, Jeremy, but I have more than you to worry about. The world's falling apart at the seams, and... Well, I'm going to the Coquille Islands to try and stop it.
What?
It's a revolution, Jeremy. We're trying to restore justice.
Juliet!
Okay. I I gotta go. My plane's about to board.
No, wait!
Jeremy, darling, you're my best friend in the whole world. And I'm gonna miss you so much.
Juliet.
I love you. Au revoir, mon frère.
Wow. Is Juliet ever going to come back home?
That's classified. For military reasons.
Speaking of classified, I am having a really hard time getting my hands on a mysteriously unaired interview that Patrick Darling gave to Dan Rather just before the debate. Care to comment on why the network decided not to run it?
Better story probably came along. Maybe Brittany flashed her nether region that day.
Maybe, but we've contacted people involved with the interview who confirmed that the network shelved it because Mr. Rather asked Patrick uncomfortable questions.
About what?
About the night Ellen Darling accidentally died in the fire. What did Patrick say in that interview? Did he confess to killing his wife?
You have some fanciful ideas about how far the power of this family extends. You think the Darlings could keep a lid on a taped murder confession?
Fine, I'll just run the Ellen story with your denial and possible involvement.
Oh, wait. Did you say the Dan Rather interview?
Starting to come back to you, Clark.
Yeah. Yeah. That interview was a little uncomfortable. But it didn't have anything to do with Ellen's death. It was about a book.
Renata Lennox, Darling family publicist.
Not Patrick, darling.
And what about your mom?
What about her?
She needs to be rescued. Thanks to this.
I wrote that book many years ago.
Oh, and some reporter today dug up quotes from it about, how'd you put it, your mother's passionate fury?
Something like that, yeah.
That kind of salacious soundbite takes on a whole new meaning under the glare of murder charges. Your father wants you to start the spin cycle. I have a press schedule all laid out.
Patrick was more than willing to defend his unfortunate choice of words in the book.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
There was only one problem. They weren't his words to begin with.
Government censorship of the arts evoked my mother's passionate fury. And so she fought for all of us. But especially you, Rodan. And you, Carpo, with your gypsy dancers. So you see, Dan, this passionate fury that everyone's making such a fuss over had nothing to do with violence.
It was about her support of artistic freedom.
And her passion for Parisian sculpture.
Sickening how these things can be taken out of context, isn't it?
It's a plague, Dan. Truly.
In the book, I was touched by your reaction to your Uncle Kenneth's assassination. To console you, your mother gave you a kitten.
That's right. Snowball.
No, you said it was named after Cesar Tronso. You swore you'd name all your cats after New York senators.
Well, there were so many cats. Talmadge, Wadsworth, Javits.
There were a lot of senators, but I never met one named Snowball. You didn't write this book, did you, Mr. Darling?
So the Darlings buried the Rather interview to protect Senator Patrick Darling from a book scandal? Well, it's not exactly the article I came here looking for. Still, the newly elected junior senator of New York. A plagiarist. That'll do.
Wait, you can't print that story. Hey, I told you this in confidence. This wasn't in our deal.
We never had a deal. Sorry.
You're making a mistake.
Is that a threat?
No. Look, you can print these stories, sure. But do you have any idea the kind of front page scandals that go on in this place? The kind of stuff that careers are made of? I'll tell you what. I will make you a deal.
Go on.
I can be your source. Just keep quiet on these and I will feed you the good stuff as it comes.
Really?
Would I lie to you?
Sounds like a win-win situation. We'll talk soon.
You bet.
Oh, and Clark? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
The Fantini brothers have a long and tempestuous history with us.
Testify. The Fantini brothers.
Obstruction of justice. That's a felony.
You want to testify?
They're mobsters, bro.
I'm a little parched myself.
First question. The Fantini brothers.
Fantini brothers. The Fantini brothers are
Foul corruptions, ethically pristine.
things have changed.
You have no proof.
But do I have to meet your son?
Ilana's a great kid. You'll love her.
Boy, would he really?
Bumps along the road.
He doesn't sound 16.
Don't quote me on that last part, but you get the picture.
Wait to see the Ferragamo charity fashion show.
Could you get me the number for the folks at Ferragamo? I'm their biggest client.
You clearly don't know Letitia Darling.
Come on, Clark.
Yes,
Admit it. I almost feel sorry for Letitia.
Then don't run the story.
A murderer.
I can clear all this up.
Where is Juliet, darling?
Juliet is with a boy. This
My
is
uncle
a
is
con.
Jean-Pierre Desjardins,
Big secret he was
former
keeping.
president of the Coquille Islands, and took the government.
Juliet never going to come back home?
That's classified.
I am having a really hard time getting my hands on a mysteriously unaired interview that Patrick Darling gave to Dan Rather just before the debate. Uncomfortable.
Snowball.
Did it work?
Like a charm. Hello? Oh, hello, Mr. Darling. No, everything's been quiet around here. Nothing to worry about, sir. You just enjoy the holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, and to the family. Good night, Mr. Darling.